All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. As we kick off our ECAC hockey men's season. Thanks for jumping on today on our call. We'll have all of our league's coaches speaking for 10 or so minutes to our media. And we'll start today with our coaches poll, our all-league team, and then the media poll and all-league team as well. So to start, we'll take you through the the preseason poll. First place, Quinnipiac with 118 points, 8 first-place votes. Harvard second, 109 with 4 first-place votes. Clarkson third, 105. Cornell fourth with 90. Colgate fifth, 77. RPI sixth with 70. St. Lawrence seventh with 57. Union eighth with 45. Dartmouth ninth with 43. Yale 10th with 32. Brown 11th with 26. And Princeton 12th with 20. And this will all go up on the website and social, sometime scattered throughout this call as we get into our coaches. And this call will also be available on YouTube and via email after the conclusion. For the all-league team, just some clarification on this. I know we had some questions on our women's side as well. The eligibility for our league for this team as it stands right now is that the player must have been on an all-league postseason team or an all-rookie team at the end of the year last year. So only players that are returning that were on those teams are eligible. And with that said, goaltender Yaniv Peretz from Quinnipiac, defenseman Zach Metza and Henry Thrun from Quinnipiac and Harvard, forwards Matthew Coronado from Harvard, Alex Campbell from Clarkson, and then we had a tie on our final forward. So there's 2, Alex Laferriere from Harvard and Matthew Goslin from Clarkson. So that's your all-league team from the coaches. And then Ken, if you'd like to go into the media side, we will hit that now.
All right. Thanks, Nick. And we disagree with the coaches. The media picked Harvard to win. They got 8 first-place votes and 107 points. Quinnipiac was second with 95. Clarkson was third with 92 points and 1 first-place vote. Colgate is fourth with 76 points. Then Cornell at 75. Union is sixth at 58. We had a tie for 7th between St. Lawrence and RPI with 52 points. Yale is 9th with 30 points. Princeton 10th with 28. Dartmouth 11th with 21. And Brown last with 20 points. And our preseason all-conference team, we didn't have the same rules in the media as I guess the coaches did. So goalie is we basically agree on just about everybody there. Petrus in goal, Thrun and Metza in defense. Campbell and Coronado, and our other forward on the media team was Sean Farrell from Harvard.
Great. Thank you, Ken. And with that, we will get started with our coaches. Brent is already on and early, so thank you for starting us off on the right note. We'll start before we go into questions with just a little bit of a synopsis on what you expect from your team this year, what you like coming back, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. Well, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. Heading into the season, I think the biggest thing is getting Emil Zetterquist back as a 5th year in net. That's huge. Anytime you have a stalwart net, and I think he's an all-league type goaltender. Obviously we need to give him some more run support, and that's been the focus here in the past season here in recruiting, to get some guys with some offensive punch to come in. Obviously to raise our power play level and also just our 5-on-5 production. So our leaders are going to be Timmy Makowski. We wore an A for us last year. He's a senior defenseman this year. Jordan Steinmetz, who's a senior forward, and Alexei Pelton, who's a senior forward as well. And those 3 kids have had a lot of experience, played in all situations for us, really from day one. So the 3 years of experience those kids have, I think, is going to be real important. And we've got a pretty large senior class, which is great. So I think experience is a big piece to having success. You've got to go through the ups and downs, and when you get that experience under your belt, it's finding the way to get over the top in tight situations. And if you look at last year, we were one of the tops in the country as far as number of ties at the end of the season, and those are ones you hope to push over and get yourself in the win column rather than a tie. And then even game management, close games where you have a 1 or 2 goal lead to finish games off, or be able to feel comfortable in coming back from behind as well. So I think that experience with our guys coming back is probably the biggest thing for us to take a step forward. We're excited about our incoming class as well, but the experience with our returners is the most important piece, we feel.
All right, we can go ahead with questions. Anybody
Hey,
else?
Brent, sorry, I thought I was deferring to Ken.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, so Brent, what do you like about, I mean, obviously you talked about all the ties last year. How do you go about putting those into the win column? I mean, you guys are a little bit more experienced than you have been. You got a kind of a mark on this team now. What do you like about it?
Well, our guys compete at a high level. That's one thing we've never questioned. It comes down to the execution in those tight games when you have those opportunities of finishing plays off and feeling confident in it. And I think we did a lot of stuff in the off season with our guys with a little bit of self-identification, role recognition, things like that, to really kind of look deeper in themselves as an individual. We wanted everybody to have an increase to a certain percentage to, as a whole team, we'd take a step forward if everybody did their part. And I think that's a big piece of it is, not missing the opportunities and, put more pucks to net, but getting to the hard areas, but really executing when you have those opportunities. When you go back and look at games, there's always chances where they're a little off with execution, on any team, not just ours, but any team. And those can be the differences that, with that experience and the confidence, you hope those things end up in the back of the net this year.
Brent, did things feel back to normal last year? I know you guys played in the pandemic season, but did things feel normal last season?
Yeah, I thought it did. After really, we got to the end of October, I thought it was kind of business as usual for the most part. There was a little restriction with different attendance at different rinks and stuff. We were fortunate to hear that we didn't have the same types of restrictions or as stringent restrictions, I guess. And so our guys felt comfortable. We weren't going through all the testing protocols. We did some of that stuff early in the season when all the students had to come back to campus. That was a university mandate. But after that, it was really back to a normal season, we felt. So I think that made a difference too for the guys. It was huge, going through what we did. The COVID year was a real challenge for everybody. It was kind of a breath of fresh air to get to the rink and not have to do the testing every other day to prepare to play games on the weekend and things like that. And so just, it was a good step, I think, last year now to get us full speed ahead as soon as we drop the puck for this year. Ken, if you're looking for somebody to split that vote too between ourselves and RPI, I can be a voter if you're looking for it.
Well, get Cap, but if Cap ever voted, maybe he would.
No, I'll vote for Cap. We don't need Cap to vote. I'll vote.
Anyone else have questions?
I think one of the things I see, Brent, on your roster, how is your defense? I mean, obviously, it looks like that's kind of the strength of your team. Obviously, you get a lot. It seems like you have a little bit of experience back there. Is that something you see as well?
Yeah, we're still, Timmy Mikowski's a senior defenseman for us, and they were a little bit younger after that. But those young guys played in key moments and key situations right from the puck drop last year, in the last 2 years. So that experience in the back end, I think, really helps Zets as well in net. If you're building a team, our philosophy is it's got to start from in net and then up through the middle of the ice, and that's your defenseman, your center. And I think having a decor that has played a lot of different key situations in different games, and it'll be pretty valuable going into the season.
I'll add one too, Coach. Just speaking to, as the league gets back into what we said was normalcy and having full barns again and fans back and students back in a lot of places, how much does that kind of impact the experience of the players in our league, and how much that it's experienced, just what the atmosphere is like with some of the, great rivalries and some of the classic, arenas that you're playing in?
Oh, it's huge. It really is. I mean, it's a different, when you look at the year before when you're playing an empty crowd and trying to muster up energy at times, it just loses a big piece of what college athletics are all about, especially college hockey, because there is some phenomenal fan support throughout our league in our conference, and some great buildings that they've got some great chants. The student sections are phenomenal, but just the attendance as a whole, there's some great places to play. So that for the excitement and the opportunity and the experience of the kids to get what they should get is a real important piece for the student athletes. It's nice for those guys to be rewarded and have that opportunity now.
Anybody else? I know Bernie's jumped on now and Jackson just came on. Do you guys have any questions for Coach?
Yeah, Brent, Bernie Corbett, just if you can allude to the schedule, you got pretty challenging non-conference slate. Again, you're going to see some Hockey East rivals, but you also get some interconference and some matchups with the West. You get to go to Michigan Tech and so forth in Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, you want to play a challenging schedule. You're going to find out, obviously, within our conference, I think there's a lot of depth and parity within the league. But for your non-conference, you want to play good opponents to find out where you're at nationally. And I think that's always the balance you try to fight for is you want to get good competition across the country. You want to play within different conferences just to get crossover matchups as well. So we're excited about it. It's going to be a challenging schedule. We've got 4 Hockey East games. We got 4 NCHC games, 2 Atlantic, and then 2 CCHA. And obviously, the 2 will be at Tech, which will be exciting. It's funny. I've been to Tech's building in the summer. I've never actually played there, so I'm looking forward to going up there. So, and it's funny because Joe Sean, I know well. Joe was when I first got into coaching. I was in Chicago in the North American League, and Joe was coaching the Sioux team at the time. So it'll be fun to go play head to head with Joe. He's a good guy.
Great. Coach, do you have anything else to add about your program, about the league this year? Anything else that you may not have gotten to?
No, I think as a conference, it's great to see we got a number of teams ranked in the top 20, which is great, the 4 teams. And I think it speaks to the depth of our conference and our league. So, and the guys that are in there, congrats to them. And obviously, we want to do our part to continue to try to get ourselves in that top 20 as well.
Great. Thank you so much. If no one else has questions, we are all set for you this morning. Thanks for jumping on, and good luck this season.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, so we will have a couple minutes. Dave Smith from RPI will be next, scheduled for 9:20, so he should be within the next couple minutes.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Nick, where's RPI in the coaches poll again?
RPI is 6th.
6. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Everybody's quiet on here.
I just checked in with RPI. They should be on. We always love when coaches are early, but then when one coach is early and one's on time, it makes it seem like they're late. So he still has 2 minutes. There he is. He's actually early. So
I expect Teddy Donato to be late. He always is.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
He can't hear you. I don't think.
There he is. We just had to unmute. How are you, Coach?
Doing fine. How's everybody?
Good, Dave. How are you?
Thanks.
Hey, Dave.
Doing great. What time's the 9:20 call start?
I
You know
just
what?
got done saying when you came on, I said, man, we love when coaches are early, but when one is super early, it makes people seem late when they're not. You're 2 minutes ahead of schedule.
I got it. I would have the same conversation with my guys. I'm glad everybody's ready.
You're good. All good. All right, Coach. So we have a good amount of media on the call. Before we get to their questions, if you want to just start by giving us a little bit of a synopsis on your season upcoming, what you like from your team, and where you're headed this year, and then we'll get to questions.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. First and foremost, it feels like a regular year. It feels what it felt like pre-pandemic in terms of when students come back to school, activity on campus. The excitement around our campus is great. With people being allowed back in the building. In terms of on the ice, it's a strange feeling because we have seniors that played a year, missed a year, played a year. So it felt like they had 2 freshman seasons, and now we're expecting them to be a senior. So we're a little inexperienced, but we're not as inexperienced as it might appear. So it's a little quirky. I really like our team speed and skill. I think has gone up. I think our ability to generate offense will go up on an individual basis. And other than that, I think I'm like probably a lot of people and waiting to see the season get going so we can really evaluate what we have and what everybody else has.
Dave, you mentioned about having fans back in the building there. I mean, how big is that? I know you had a limited crowd for the playoff series, but to be able to have students, regular fans, the fans from off campus, how much excitement is that going to bring back to the team?
Well, I continue in my travels and conversations with alumni and hockey people, and I've seen it firsthand. RPI and the Houston Fieldhouse is a special place with the fans, and we lost that. We lost that with no fans and no season, and so I believe RPI can be a destination because of the fans, because of the environment. I think winning goes hand in hand with that to create a destination place. So having the fans back gives everybody in the capital region something to look forward to on the campus at RPI. So I'm really happy and excited for our players that haven't experienced it yet to feel the buzz in the building. And I'm excited to gain the energy that they give. I think there was a number of games last year that I don't know if we were flat. I don't think that's the right word, but the boost the boost from the fans could have helped. That's for sure.
Hey, Dave, I hope the summer has been good. Can you kind of talk about the weird situation you were in this summer and how it's finally good to kind of, know you're going to be there long-term for sure? I mean, I know you didn't have any questions, but how was that for you?
Yeah, it was unique, but not too unique because, I mean, there was other coaches in college hockey that had it. The good thing that I had is I had Dr. McElroy was adamant. He had met with our team. I do think it played a hand in a couple transfers leaving, and some indecision on recruiting and possibly some ammo for those that choose to negatively recruit against us. But at the end of the day, and with the guys that were here and chose to stay, I've been all in. I've never stepped a foot outside the program. Did I have conversations? Yes, but every conversation started and ended with, I want to be at RPI. I believe in my personal alignment with the values of this institution and the athletic department. I believe in the type of student athlete that we can recruit here can win championships. So for me, the hardest part was just navigating the noise from the outside of the program. And all we could do is really communicate with our players and tell the truth and what we knew and what we expected. And everybody was going to do their own thing. But, I've been a head coach. I think I have to do the math now. I think this is year 18. It's actually the second time it happened. And I was hoping that it was going to be the same as the first time where we went to the NCAA tournament with Canisius in 2013. The difference at that time was we didn't have the president changeover that we had this time. And, that threw some curveballs into the communication and the timing and everything. But Dr. McElroy was terrific. Came down and met with the players at one point. And, anytime a player asked, we told them.
Hey, Dave, picked 6th in the coaches poll, tied for 7th in the media poll. I mean, does that sound about right where you are now, or is it kind of hard to gauge when you have so much player turnover with the portal and everything?
I don't know, Mark. I mean, it's I think the top 6 are exactly the same as the standings that finished the year. I'm not so sure after the top 6. I think the top 4 haven't changed in the standings much, except in 2020 when we got into that 4th spot, and I felt we were on the rise, and COVID set us back quite a bit. But I thought we had a nice rebound type year with a good playoff, push Harvard, the eventual league champ, to the brink. And so I think it does make sense to put us at 6. I think there's a dogfight between 5 and wherever for everybody. I think anybody that creeps into the top 4, which can happen, is going to have an excellent year.
Coach, what are you hoping to accomplish between now and your first scrimmage coming up in about a week and a half against Colgate at practice?
We are really just, I don't want to say fine tuning, but at this time of the year, I think it's important not to overwhelm them with intricacies and details. Now, we're a heavy detail team, but we want them to play. More than anything, we want their gifts, their special abilities to come out. At this time, we're now locking into some lines that we feel good about, locking into, the big picture details on how we want to play as a team. We're still limited to 4 hours with them on the ice, and then in the weight room, and just a little bit of time of video. And so we asked them to learn a lot. So really big picture, Jackson, we're really just trying to get the guys to play as a unit as best possible under short practice conditions.
Hey, Dave, you mentioned you like your team speed and skill, and your ability, what you think is going to be your ability to generate offense. What are you seeing? What makes you think that so far? Is it the improvement you've seen in guys, or is it some of the new guys you've added that kind of give you that confidence?
Yeah, I think, a lot of our comparisons go to, well, who left and who replaced them. And, Leppinen and Laka were played on our top line, had a terrific year. They're awesome players. But you replace those with just 2 guys that physically skate better and create. Leppinen and Laka were terrific team players and complemented other players well, and that's important. But our individual skating ability and speed is just at a higher level than it was. Brendan Booty and Austin Heidemann come in from the transfer portal, can really get up and down the ice. You'll see a guy like Jack Brackett, who was in the lineup last year, especially down the playoff stretch. He's one of the fastest, if not the fastest guys in the league, in the country. So just those individual pieces. Again, we're going to have to put it together for team speed, but my observation right now is our individual speed is significantly better.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, Bernie Corbett, a question for you about your goaltending. Essentially, you had the split there with newcomer coming into the program with Watson and with Marshall, who had a great year for you as a grad student. how that's you expect that to shake out as you get ready for camp.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious just based on the minutes played. Jack Watson will start as the number one goaltender. We returned Brett Miller, who had some injury issues last year, who looks good, who just, between COVID and injuries, just hasn't found his rhythm, but is an excellent goaltender. And then we added Carson Cherepak, who is, coming off a terrific year, a Canadian Championship and MVP type year for him, who is pushing these guys. So I think we'll see Watson, start in the lead, and I know those other guys will be pushing him.
Great. Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate your time this morning. And if you have anything else to add about your team, you feel free. If not, we wish you the best of luck this year.
No, I'm really excited about the league. I think it's important that all boats rise with the tide, and the league is, I think, poised for a terrific comeback year after a couple tough years, and it's exciting to be a part of that, and exciting to be on this call and be talking hockey. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Likewise, looking forward to get it started. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we should have Coach Pecknold on shortly. Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, Nick, you're pretty scrambled. Everybody's voice is scrambled. I've logged in twice now, so I can.
That's that heavy duty. That's the high duty encryption on Quinnipiac's campus. You got
I can
going
see your
on.
lips moving, and it's like So I don't know what to do. I've logged out and logged back in. You want me to do it again?
We can hear you fine, man. We can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
You got to text me. I can't understand anything anyone's saying.
All right, I'm gonna text him.
I'm gonna log out again. I'll log back in. Let me do it a third time.
I'll text him with a call-in phone number as well. All right, is that any better? No. All right, so we'll do this. I'll send you a phone number so you can call in. I'm gonna text you. Everyone, please hold.
Your lips move, but I can't know what you're saying.
To unmute. The call is being recorded.
There you go. Can you hear us?
All right, let's try it. It's
All right, so just do me a favor and mute Trying to figure out what. Yeah, if you can turn off the
video.
volume on your computer.
What do you want me to do?
Turn off the volume on your computer so that you can hear us only through the phone and it's not echoing.
I already did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's an extreme echo on that.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work, Nick.
Well, why don't you just mute your audio on here altogether and just talk through the phone? We'll try it that way.
All right.
Okay, we'll try it this way, and at least we have the video, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, now I'm back in. Can you hear me, Nick?
I can hear you. There's a bit of an echo.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna what we'll do is if someone has a question, put it in the chat, and Coach can answer it that way.
I'll tell you what. We got to do this another time. This is Mickey Mouse. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
You want me to try login a fourth time? I can.
No,
I'll log in a fourth time.
Why don't we just use the cell phone only? Okay. Well, let's see. Anyone else have an idea?
Yeah, just shut off his video, because I think if he had the video, it'll volume up on the computer.
Yeah, I think the cell phone only is a good idea in this case.
You see, everybody joined. As all the Quinnipiac people joined the calls.
I know, you got more people on the call than we have at any point, and the only one that doesn't work.
Yeah, I think if he would have just shut off his computer, or I think it would have actually worked fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just told him just use the phone, and we just won't have video. And unfortunately, the folks at Quinnipiac will have to create their own video content.
That's just rude.
Hey, what can I say? It's the only person it's happened to, so at least now nobody can say I'm biased, right?
I think the opposite. I think you're not trying to prove it. So like you're making sure things go wrong for us.
No, I've made it very, very easy.
I guess he's not coming back.
No, I think he's dialed in and he's muted right now.
Yeah.
No, that phone number, the 781 number is
No, there's a 203. I think Rand's here.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yay.
I've also done *6 to unmute multiple times too, so this is a fiasco in works. But we got 3 minutes left, so let's roll.
All right, let's go. We'll go right into questions. Number one, Pecknold, the coaches poll, and top ECAC team in the national rankings that came out Monday. Yanni Peretz and Zach Metza on the all-league preseason team. So we'll go right into questions. Anybody that wants to start can go ahead.
Hey, Rand, it's Ken Schott. I wanted to ask you, you have Colin Graf there now, the former Dutchman. What do you like about him, and how was that process in getting him to Quinnipiac?
Yeah, hi, Ken. Well, in getting him, he went in the portal, and we loved him. We loved him before he got to Union, and I watched him this year, and I thought he was an impact player for them. So anytime being an impact player, obviously it's a new world with the transfer portal and not having to sit, and a little bit of the Wild West. But anyway, in terms of Colin, we've had practices already. He looks great, high IQ. He wants to be a player. Like, he's really committed. Staying on late, getting on early. He's a goal scorer. So we're excited for what he can do for us. Obviously, he had an impact at Union last year as a freshman, but I think he's going to be a really good player for us.
Hey, Rand, it's Phil. It seemed obviously with all of the returning grad students, there's that air of unfinished business. And I think that was actually talked about by some of the Zach Metzes of the world returning. But you also have a pretty large new class of first years. I think it's 8 in total. How have they adjusted so far to kind of like sliding in? It seems like every year now with the Bobcats and maybe most of college hockey in general, you have a lot of kind of like transition when it comes to players slotting in and out.
Yeah, we have 8 freshmen and 3 transfers. So we have 11 new players. So it's we have a lot back, which I'm excited about. But it's 11's a lot of new players to kind of integrate. But practices have gone well. But practice is practice. So we're excited here in about whatever it is, 10, 11 days to get going with playing University of Toronto and then Providence and scrimmages, and then we open up with BC. So it's a little early to tell. But just a normal September, trying to integrate the players and establish our culture and our identity.
Rand, you have double duty this year, not only coaching Quinnipiac, but being the head coach of the U.S. World Junior team. How are you going to be able to balance that?
Great question. We're gonna have to figure it out. I mean, I'll be gone for roughly 25 days. So Joe Dumais will take over along with Mike Corbett, and they're great coaches. They'll handle it. My guys will be fine. In terms of the USA stuff, a lot of it right now is just scouting and watching games online when I've got some free time. Obviously, I'm not gonna let my job at Quinnipiac slip in the least. But in the end, it's a great challenge for me, and we had a great camp this summer. It was exciting. But at the same point, you're being surrounded by other coaches. We ran the camp with the 22 group, so I thought it was a great learning experience for all the coaches that were there.
Rand, you lost a bunch of starts from St. Cyr last year with the incoming freshman Chase Clark. How do you expect the goalie usage to be split up this year?
Well, it's a little early for that. Clark's been hurt a little bit here in the fall, so we'll let it all play out. I never overstress about how the goalie rotation is going to work. I didn't stress about it last year, and I just feel it always kind of works itself out. But obviously, we've got one of the best goalies in the country in Yanni Peretz, and we really like Chase as a backup, and we like Noah Altman again also too, who's our 3, and we'll just let it play itself out as October and November runs along.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach Bernie Corbett, a question about the fact you've got a number of newcomers to your program, but there's still, with everything we've gone through with COVID, a good deal, a pretty strong core of guys that are grad students, that are fifth-year guys. Just to give us some perspective, coach's perspective, to know that you got a core that you can rely on, that have been around you, the program, and your systems that can give you that leadership.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an unusual circumstance that we've been put in because of the pandemic. But having, third year, fourth year, fifth year players, I mean, they've been there and done it, and they know our culture, they know our identity, and big one is hunt and be relentless on the puck, and they've done it. And the freshmen and the transfers are already figuring it out pretty quickly. Like, this is how we do it. So it's nice to have those older guys. And certainly we take advantage of it. I didn't think I was going to get that many back, and it just kind of worked out that way. I think once one or two of them decided to come back, they all decided to come back. So they're great kids, really good players, and we're just excited to get the season rolling here.
All right, we got one more if we want. No? All right. Thank you, Coach. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We will we'll take the audio and be all good, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Rand.
Thanks, Rand.
Yeah, Rand.
All right, we will roll right into Brendan Whittit from Brown, and I just want to let you know I just got word Reed Cashman at Dartmouth had a family emergency come up, and he will be unable to attend the call today. So we will be without Dartmouth, which will create a little bit of a space at 10:30, just so everyone knows. I'm going to try to get those 3 coaches that were after him to be bumped up, so I'll work on that. And right now we'll bring on Coach Whittit.
There he is. Take it off mute.
You just muted at the bottom left. There you go. Yes, thank you for jumping on. Apologize for the couple-minute delay. Just so everyone knows, Coach was on time. We let him on late.
That's a positive.
we had some technical difficulties earlier, but We're all good now.
It's
So
amazing that I haven't had technical difficulties. So positive day already.
well, thank you for jumping on and joining us, taking some time as you get ready for the season. We got some different members of the media here, and if you could just start by giving a little bit of a synopsis on your expectations of your team this season heading into the new year.
Well, I'm looking forward to the year. I mean, last year was interesting, just coming off COVID and basically 18 months for a majority of the guys not being involved in on ice or in game situations. So for us, last year was interesting, and we had some stoppages, and I believe we're past all of that stuff at this point. So our preparation has been really good as we head into what I anticipate to be a good year. Again, I'm going to sound like a typical coach, but we're just trying to work each and every day to make sure that when the puck's dropped for us, which is at the end of October, that we're performing like I think we can, and where that puts us at the end of the year, time will tell. But I've been here for 14 years. I like the makeup of the team. I like the direction the guys are trending. I like our goaltending and our defensive core and the mix of guys that we have. So, again, I feel really good about it. I think this year could be a special year. Again, what we make of that will be up to us and how we come out each and every time we step on the ice.
Thank you, Coach. Questions?
Hey, Brendan, it's Ken Schott. How's it going?
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Good. How you doing? What is it going to take for your program to get into that challenge for maybe a home ice in the first round or even a first round bye?
Yeah, it's a good question, Ken, because we talk about it all the time amongst our staff, and honestly, within those 14 years, we've been there just hasn't been a lot of consistency in terms of year to year where we look like we're on the cusp of being a team that consistently can challenge for those spots and in those playoff situations. And then there just doesn't seem to be that consistency of from year to year. But, I think the biggest thing for us this year, I do think we're going to be really good in goal. I think we have an excellent D-core. We have to find a way to score more. Like, our offense, not that it was, it just wasn't an offense last year that really generated a lot. So our margin of error was very small. So we had to be unbelievably on defensively and in the net in order to allow ourselves to be successful. So, we got to find a way to create a little bit more offense. We need to lean on some of the guys a little bit more. We got to make sure our defensemen are involved a little bit more and be a little more creative on the offensive side. And our power play's got to be good. That's the way that I foresee that, we can make steps. So we've been really putting an emphasis on just standards and basics and, making sure pucks are going to the net, making sure there's bodies at the net, making sure that we're playing fast and we're transitioning in a hurry and trying to play in the offensive zone a little bit more.
Hi, Brendan. Hope you had a good summer. You just talk about, you kind of mentioned it, your goaltending. You had a guy there, Caron, that, kind of came in there last year, took some, the game time really from a very experienced guy. Was that kind of surprise? And how can he kind of, back up last year? He had a .915 save percentage, pretty good save percentage for you guys. How can he back that up? And what do you look for from him?
I just look for him being a little bit more consistent. I think as a freshman goaltender, we had high expectations for him, but you just never know until the guys actually make that step from junior hockey to the college level. And he was pretty good, at times. I'm sure there's a few pucks he'd like back and a few games that he maybe wasn't as consistent as our expectations are moving into this year. I also think he has a pretty good defensive core in front of him. It's a interesting mix of guys with everybody that is returning that played significant minutes from last year will be back. And everyone from our captain, Luke Chris, to Sammy Nanasari, to James Crossman, who was hurt for a majority of the year last year, to some of the younger guys that came in and played quality minutes with Monroe and who was also hurt. So I do think for Karan, we're just looking for him to be consistently good from game to game. And he's been great in practice so far, and that consistency has been there from day to day. So we're just looking for that to continue in the games.
Coach Bernie Corbett, question for you. I noticed late in the summer you had a new hire for the coaching staff, pretty diverse background with Matt Plant, and just to give us some perspective on what he adds to your program.
Well, yeah, I mean, so we lost a guy that had been with me for a while, and Jason Guerrero, and Jason had an opportunity to go back to his alma mater and being a coach there. So I didn't blame him for that. I mean, honestly, I looked at it as an opportunity to hire somebody that brought a little bit more of a diverse look at the game. Matty Plant was the guy that I wanted from day one. And I think the guy's done an unbelievable job wherever he's been. I mean, he's won everywhere he's been. So there's something to that, Bernie. He's a competitive guy. He knows the game inside and out. He's unbelievably driven on the recruiting front, which is huge for us. I mean, we want to be involved with the best players, in North America. Well, to be involved with the best players in North America, you got to be out there. We got to make sure we're seeing the guys. We got to make sure we're picking up the phone call and we're on top of it. And it doesn't mean we're going to get everybody, obviously, but you know what? We want to be in the fight. And I think Matt brings that to the table. And he's been tremendous since he's been here. He's got a long and varied history, whether it be in the USHL as a head coach in prep school, a head coach with Mount where I played. So it's nice to get I don't know if we could call him a Mount guy because he didn't wear the uniform, but I look at him as a Mount guy. So he was in that rink, and I think some of that stuff might rub off on you. So I from my perspective, he's a great hire. He's going to be an unbelievable benefit to our players in our program.
Anything else for Coach? Coach, as a Rhode Island high school player, I still get cringe every time someone says the word Mount. So thanks for ruining my Wednesday.
I know. You could walk into that rink and hasn't changed a lot since I played.
Oh, I know.
1989. So it was a great experience for me. I mean, I was lucky enough to play for Bill Belisle back in the day, and had some great teammates and some guys that played in the National Hockey League, and it was a wonderful experience. And I look back on those days fondly, and I take a lot of what I learned from Coach Belisle to this day in terms of how I approach coaching, and he was unbelievable in terms of my experience there. So for me, I try and bring some of those attributes to what I do each and every day.
Yeah, he was absolutely a legend, and you definitely had more positive memories from that building than a lot of other people did. So
I know. Good point.
All right. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you this season. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Brendan.
All right, we'll roll right into our next slot. Josh is here. There he is from Union. Coach, thanks for jumping on today. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
We'll start before we get questions with just a quick synopsis of your season, where you're headed with your team this year, what you like coming back, and kind of what you see as your path this year.
Well, I mean, for me, everything's new. So I guess there's not a lot to, when you talk about the past and the history, there's a great history here at Union, but we're looking forward to the future and what we're going to build, and just building a culture together. There's so much positive energy with the guys right now. Every day has been a ton of fun at the rink. So excited about that. And it's just been really competitive. I think that's the number one thing, is it's just been a competitive atmosphere, and there's a lot of guys fighting for ice time. We have a bigger roster than we typically like to carry. But with that being said, it's going to make ice time a premium, and you're going to have to work for it. So, I'm a little naive to this, but I'm super fired up to what we have. And I just, like, the group is awesome to work with every day. I love the staff. I love what we have going on right now, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Great.
Hey, Josh, I wanted to ask you about the poll. You guys were picked by the media 6th, the coaches 8th. Does that sound about right?
Well, I like the media a lot more. I'll tell you that much. You know, I don't know. Like, I think we have a good group. I think we can compete with everyone, and I think the league's going to be really tight this year. So, yeah, I think putting us in that group is fair. It's probably where we deserve, but we're going to shoot to prove everybody wrong there and finish higher up.
Hey, Josh, you said it's been very competitive so far in practice. Is there anything you've been doing in particular to kind of foster that competitiveness, or is it just kind of naturally coming out of the guys?
Well, I think that we play a lot of games in practice and we compete, and we're looking for guys to want to win. It pays to be a winner, and like there's some punishments for losing sometimes, whether it's just some push-ups or whether it's just a little quick skate. But we want to have that culture of you want to win everything you're doing, whether it's a face-off, whether it's a sprint, whether it's a game. So like that's everything we do is a game, and we compete, and start practice off every single day with some passing drills that are game-like, and it's keep away, it's puck possession, it's holding on to the puck, and that's the way we want to play.
Hey, Josh, good to finally see you get one of these roles. Just talk about what is the goal of the early season here? Obviously, you're just getting your feet wet. The players are learning you. What is the big thing that you guys have to do here early in the season to kind of get better and get the guys used to your coaching style?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just communicating a lot, and we want guys to be able to come in and talk to us about anything and everything, not just hockey. It's getting to know them as a person and their family, and what they like to do. I think we have a staff that does a really good job of that and is genuinely interested in every guy. But then it's being on the same page. Right now, there's nobody to look to and be, hey, I can go ask this senior because he knows exactly what coach wants. We have to talk it out and sort it out, and making sure that when we're doing a video session that everybody is exactly sure what's going on, and you can't break away from the meeting and then 3 guys get together and talk. It's asking questions in meeting. It's being open and honest, and working through stuff together. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just getting on the same page, because we have a limited time to get a lot of stuff done. And I don't think we're going to be anywhere close to being perfect our first weekend. We play 2 games right away, but we're going to compete and we're going to get after it. We're going to make mistakes, but we're going to, hopefully the effort will be so high that we can, overcome a systematic mistake.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned limited time. You got 33 players on your roster. How do you balance that out in order to properly evaluate everyone, especially as a first-year coach?
Well, we video every practice, so it's breaking that down and making sure that we're watching every single second we can, because it is limited and it's tough. So just using video as much as we can in a resource, because when you're trying to teach and push the pace of practice, because we want to play for 60. Like when we practice, we want to compete for 60 so we can do it on Friday and Saturday nights. And sometimes you might miss something, but the video never lies. So you just watch the video and, show it the next day. And it's been a really good resource for us.
Josh, have you decided on the captains yet?
We haven't. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be a little bit later. I want to make sure we get it right. We have a lot of guys that are stepping up and leading, but it's going to be a thing that they have to be completely bought in and into their role and what we're trying to do as a team. And I think, we have an idea of the guys we like, but it's going to be a later process than it is going to be, before our first game.
Josh, I think you said a few weeks ago, you used the analogy, it's a short runway leading up to the start of the regular season. Do you see the end of that runway coming, or are you so kind of engrossed in what you're doing right now that you're really not thinking too much about the opener?
No, we're pretty dialed into the opener, because we know, it's right there and it's close, but I think the biggest thing is just focusing day to day and not getting caught up into the fact that we're not going to have everything covered on, October 1st. There's just no way we're going to have everything dialed in. I'd like to say we will, but we're going to have something missing. what won't be missing is our effort and our compete, and that's what we're striving to be perfect at early.
Kind of ironic, Josh. Right now, Casey Jones is right next to you on the video screen. You got any thoughts about Casey?
I know I owe Coach a lot. Obviously, I wouldn't be in this role if it wasn't for him. He gave me my first opportunity in college hockey, so extremely grateful to him and his family. They've been unbelievable to my family and just helping us through everything. So yeah, owe him a lot and appreciative, and looking forward to seeing him here shortly.
Casey? Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Coach.
Oh.
He was being polite. Didn't want to interrupt. It's in the bottom left side, Coach, towards the bottom of the screen.
Oh, I'm talking.
I wish I could unmute it for him.
Yeah. Oh, we got a cat.
Oh.
Oh,
Coach, give me a thumbs up if you're on a map. I'll give you the shortcut. Nope. Josh, if you have anything else to add about your team, please feel free. We can do that now. And then if anyone else has one last question, we can take that too.
No, I'm open for any questions if anybody has anything.
Josh, Bernie Corbett from Inside ECAC Hockey. You're a first-time head coach in the ECAC, but just give us some insight, the fact that you have familiarity with the league and the fact that you're not a first-time head coach overall. You've got head coaching experience prior to that, and how you've been able to draw on that to bring it to the college level, and also what you've learned being around this league for a while.
Well, I was fortunate at Clarkson, where, coach there gave me good responsibilities, and I was able to, take some ownership and, different parts of the game. But, anytime you're in a tough situation, you can look back to previous spots that you've been in, and, that those experiences will help you get out of it. So I think the previous head coaching experience will definitely help. But this is going to be it's a whole new game for me. I've been to the buildings. I know everything about the league, but at the same point, you're still put in some difficult situations, and we'll see how I respond. I'm really excited about the two assistants we have that will, kind of help me, battle through anything that is difficult. But overall, it's an exciting time, and super excited to get going.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. And Casey's available unmuted now. So if you want to offer your thoughts there, we can go at that before Coach leaves.
I've never been on this obviously I do Zoom, but I couldn't find anywhere. I still don't know how I got it. Control D. Now I know that. So it's good. We're all good. No, I think I caught what Josh said. His team's going to be prepared for it. My expectations are they're going to play with a ton of energy for him. That's his strength. He's going to get a strong buy-in from his guys, and they're going to have fun playing for him. So I'm excited to watch him go. I told him I hope he goes 20-2. So otherwise, all good. I'm looking forward to seeing his family and that when we do get a chance to play them. So we're excited about that.
Awesome. Josh, thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the ice this season.
Thanks, guys, and thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
All right. Obviously, we are rolling right into our next slot. Casey Jones from Clarkson. Clarkson picked third in the preseason coaches poll, and a couple players, Matt Gosselin and Alex Campbell, on the all-league team. And Coach, just to start us off before we get to questions, anything in terms of a synopsis of what you expect from your group this year, players coming back, things you like, and where you're headed?
Yeah, I feel we're in a good spot. I mean, it's like anything else, right? As long as our relationships and our guys are ready to compete for each other in the locker room, that's what we spent our first month making sure we have is a really, really strong core group in the room. Relationships are strong, work ethics there. That's the basis for our program here in our culture. I feel good about that. We do have some returning players at some offensive numbers that we feel good about. We have a veteran decor finally this year. Last couple of years, we've been young back there. So hoping that translates into us playing playing faster and getting things off in the right foot here early, and maybe eliminate some of those early season mistakes that last couple of years we've had. And and I'm expecting Ethan to make a good jump in nets here. So we like our pieces. We had some turnover, so we've got some young players. I've got turnover in staff, so we're getting acclimated to each other. It's been fun. It gives you good energy and all that. So we're excited about that. Implement a few new things, and we're anxious to get the product on the ice here in early October.
Casey, what's going to take to get to that win that championship this season?
Well, I think everything's with health. You got to stay healthy, right? You got to be we got to make sure that that our skill wants to play hard, that we want to fight through stuff, that we want to get to the dirty areas, we want to be difficult to play against. It all starts defense first, right? Having a commitment to that, and that usually sets yourself up for be a good transition, good offensive team, and that's kind of where it goes for us. Starts in the net with Ethan. And we'll go from there. I'm hoping that we've traditionally been a good special teams team. I'm hoping that's the case again this year. We have the pieces. See if we can't get these guys to mesh together to compete at a really high level. So that's the most important thing for us. But I just think staying healthy and competing consistently for 60 minutes over the duration of our season is going to be the most important thing for us.
Yeah, Casey, you kind of mentioned it, that decor. I mean, you got a lot of experience back there, probably one of the more experience you've had over your time. What do you like there? Any, good puck movers there? What do you expect that group to be able to do?
Yeah, well, I think it's been an evolution for us. We had, there's 4 of them in that one class. Obviously Tommy had to sit out a year there, had a redshirt year passing in, but you're looking at Beck and Power. They were top 10 offensive defense in USHL when we got them. We've added a really good offensive defenseman in Trey Taylor here, was a USHL All-Star defenseman last year. So we can get up and down the sheet of ice and we can produce from the back end, I think, which is very important for us. Noah Beck, the one thing I do want to say, I'm really big believer in Tad Johnson, our strength coach. And during COVID, we haven't had a lot of good springs. It's been tough to see that improvement. This past year was a full spring into the summer months. So I'm hoping there's a good pop from our guys on that. You can't downplay how important the offseason is for your guys for improvements. I think Noah's taken a good step back there in terms of his physical maturity. Second team all league last year. I have high expectations for him coming through the door. And like I said, with Jordan and Trey and the core back there that we have with Dusty McFall and Kalen Taylor, some guys that can play heavy minutes that are difficult to play against, and we can skate. Is the exciting part of that decor in the back end.
Casey, what do you think about the league this year? I mean, I look at it like I think the top 5 and top 6, have improved. So that will make the league a little bit better, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm getting tired of having to defend our league. You know what I mean? It's we've got some non-scholarship schools that are some of the best schools in the world. I'm a big believer in ECAC hockey, and I'm getting it on the road. Advisors, you name it, they all want to talk about our league. It was a little bit of a shutdown year. We've got great coaches in our league. It's a grind and night in and night out. And those teams last year that started poorly, that with non-conference games being off a year, that's what hurt our league. You know what I mean? They lost some players with it because of the shutdown. To nothing. Those coaches are good. They will have their teams prepared to play. Be anxious to see how the non-conference goes early this year, being prepared and not a year away from the game. But my anticipation is everybody will be improved this year. Top to bottom. I think right now, I think there are some teams in our league that are the same level they've been at the top of the league that have competed nationally, where we've had multiple 3-4 teams in the national tournament. And I think our league has a chance to do that again with the depth of it. And I think those teams are bringing everybody else up. And my expectations, the middle is going to be better and the bottom is better. So it's a year where like I said, I'm tired of trying to defend our league. I feel strongly about there's teams in our league this year that can contend for national championships, and it's going to be a grind to win the ECAC. But I also think that the teams at the bottom that unfortunately had the year off, that had to handle with some departures because they weren't playing, things that were out of their control. As coaches, they will get those teams playing at a high level, and they're going to be a difficult team to play against, like they always are. And so I think the ECAC will make a big step this year, back to where it was, competing and being one of the better leagues in college hockey.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, Casey. How proud are you to see your guys kind of going out there, your former assistants and stuff, kind of going out there, getting head coaching jobs. Obviously, you started with Josh, there, and he did such a good job for you. Now he finally gets his gig. How rewarding is that as a coach?
One of the things that's rewarding is that they, with Brent and Josh, they've been taken by teams in our league. So I hope that says something about what people are thinking about our program that is close to us. You know what I mean? That probably is what I think speaks the most volumes for me, is that these are people close to it, watching what we're doing, and hopefully that speaks volumes just about the culture and what we have going here at Clarkson. I also think it's just I feel good about the atmosphere, hopefully that I'm creating for guys in terms of their development. I was a long-time assistant, so I like giving some ownership to those guys and inclusive with that and responsibilities to keep them moving forward, moving around with their responsibilities. So hopefully when they get that opportunity, there's nothing in their there's kind of nothing in their arsenal that they haven't touched here with me. That's my goal. So I'm trying to develop our players, but I have a responsibility to my staff to move them along, I have a responsibility to make sure they're ready when their opportunity comes, and I have a responsibility to endorse them because you get good people that are working hard for you. You're not going to keep them. I think it's important that you're okay with selling and getting them where they need to go to reach their goals as well. So with that being said, Josh and Brent and Mike, they've helped me get another great staff. I'm excited about our staff this year. Tons of experience. Players are excited. And that's kind of that's the cycle I want to have going. And hopefully we're in another good spot with our staff, and we'll be well prepared and we'll be detailed in our game.
Great.
Coach Bernie Corbin, Inside ECAC Hockey. Just a question you mentioned about not only having the veteran decor, but the fact that you have a couple of pretty prolific offensive guys. Do you see guys like Campbell and Gosselin having even another level that they can get to? They're 30 plus. Could they even get to a higher level with the experience they had and what you saw of them last year?
No question. My expectations are they'll take another step. Matthew Gosselin works extremely hard. There's not going to be any drop off. He'll continue to get better. Alex Campbell had a great summer. I think we have Anthony Romano that can score and is a big time offensive player that's made good progress. Ayrton Martino, all rookie team last year, 29 points freshman. We have some top end at the forward position for sure. Like I said, it's going to be making sure we're hard to play against. We fight for difficult ice. We go and then I think there's another core group of guys after that can come with that next, hopefully primary scoring, and Callan and Schmitz-Vestrup and Mobley and Richardson. Hopefully those guys can get into that realm up with those. But I think we have primary scoring. It's going to be hard because you have a player like Zach Sakos last year that there was a target of a lot of teams. He played a lot of hard minutes for us. And that's when you talk to your guys about it. Now those guys are going to have to produce playing those hard minutes. That's where the adjustment goes. And it's sometimes the expectation. It's hard even to do what you did before. I think they'll take another step, but it'll be harder because now there's a target. Now they're looking at them. Now they're known commodities. And so it's difficult to go from that 35 to 40, 45 point range just because of that, because now you're doing it with everybody paying attention to you. But I'm excited about them. They've had good summers. I like where they're at right now. And hopefully their work ethic will allow them with their talent to meet our goals and expectations for them.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time this morning. We look forward to seeing your team on the ice, and we start the new year very soon.
Shafe on there yet? Has Shafe jumped on yet?
Yeah, he has.
He's here.
On there, did he?
He's on mute too. See if he can get it faster.
Don't let him soft sell his team. I don't want to. He's going to soft sell. So
I'm surprised that this call. I was expecting to go after you. I'd be getting on about 11 o'clock. So.
I just get out. I get out from under your umbrella there, Shay, for 3 years. You didn't let me say anything. I had to start talking.
Yeah.
We'll see you in Pittsburgh, Shay.
No one has never stopped you from talking, Jonesy.
I'll see you tomorrow in Pittsburgh.
You got it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
See ya.
Thanks, Casey.
See you guys.
And just so everyone knows, with Coach Cashman being out, Ron Fogarty will jump into 10:30 and Don Vaughn will jump into 10:40. And then I'm just waiting to hear back from Coach Elaine, trying to move that up 10 minutes. So we should have everybody fill in those slots. But we will roll right into Cornell. Coach Schaefer, thanks for jumping on. Cornell selected 4th in the preseason coaches poll, into the top 20 in the national rankings in those preseason polls. So a good start to the year and, in the numbers. But as you get into the season with your team, if you could start before our questions, just letting us know where you're looking ahead, some of your positive points and what your team looks like going into the year.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think it's coming into the season is a kind of a different mindset, something to prove. I think that coming off of COVID, coming off of not playing, all the conversation always seemed to surround that rather than the present. So I think that a lot of refocus going on in our program and getting back to some of the basics and learn some lessons as a coaching staff last year and learn some lessons as a team. And I'm excited for our season to begin, to see where this journey is going to take us. And about as simple as that. I mean, expectations, obviously have always been high around our program. And so we're looking forward to it, looking forward to an opportunity to prove ourselves.
Hey, Mike, it's Ken Schott. Hope all is well with you. And wanted to ask you, the transfer portal created a unique situation between Cornell and Union, almost like a trade. You guys got Gabriel Seeger, Union gets Ben Tupker. What did you like about Gabriel Seeger, and what can Union fans expect with Tupker?
What obviously we had told our team we weren't getting into the portal unless someone left. So when Ben ended up deciding to transfer, our options are very are very few in the portal, right? I mean, it's got to be kids that are probably at a financial aid school. They got to be great students, and so it's very limiting with regards to who's available for an Ivy League school. So, what we liked about Gabe is I mean, he's played in the league. He's obviously produced offensively. He's done a real good job. With regards to a player that was available, and he plays center, which I thought was a need for us coming into the season. So Ben Tupker's a great kid. He's graduated from Cornell and kind of excelled himself to graduate in order to give himself another opportunity. And we wish nothing but the best for Ben. Hopefully, things work out for him at Union and he gets the ice time that he is seeking and his career takes another step for him.
Hey, Mike, good to see you back on the call. Hope you had a good summer. Just talk about the kind of the balance of your team. It looks like you have, pretty experienced core, some good talents coming back. What do you think about the balance?
Well, I think it's really good balance. And I go back to this mentality of trying to earn respect back, right? Like Sam Malinsky was a first team all East ECAC player last year, and he doesn't even get voted on the all league team. I don't know when the first time that's happened. The women's team had the same situation. They had a girl who was the player of the year last year who didn't even get voted on the on the women's all preseason team. So it's not so much does it mean a whole lot, but rather than I think it emphasizes our point, Josh, about us earning our respect back and putting in people's minds that we are a balanced hockey team and we are a good hockey team. And the only way you do that, you can't talk about it. You got to walk out of the rink and hopefully the players and the other team and the coaches and the other team, realize that it was a great game and we got a good team. That's the only really respect that we really care about is to prove ourselves to other teams in our league. And I think our league's going to be better this year, so we're going to have that balance. I mean, I think that coming off COVID, I think our league was a little bit down in the previous year, but I do think that teams are getting better. There's good young coaches in our league, and they're going to continue to make their programs better. So I think the league will be better. We'll be a little bit more balanced. Good goaltender and Ian Shane coming back. Remington Keppel was a world junior at the World Junior Tournament. A good group of defensemen that played a lot of minutes last year, and right now, I mean, it's always preseason, but probably the most balanced and most depth I've had up front is as a coach in quite some time. So looking forward to working with these guys.
Anyone else have questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, Bernie Corbett, Inside ECAC Hockey. Just a little bit of insight about Travis Mitchell, what he means, and the fact that he really grew into a top guy coming back after COVID, et cetera, last year, and one of the top defensemen in the league all around.
Yeah, I mean, last year we had a lot of kids. We had both Travis, Sam, Malinsky, Max Andreev, Matt Steinberg. All four of those guys turned down contracts to come back. I mean, it's kind of unusual, but I think kind of, again, Bernie, goes along with the lines of a guy like Travis, knew he had to prove himself a little bit more, like lean out, become a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger in order to take one more step. And I think that you look at, our team, and Travis is just an example of that. I think he's a much better hockey player right now than he was last year, and that's through his dedication this summer. And I heard Casey talk about all these guys that have come back. They're a little bit year older. For us, I mean, we've seen some major improvements, and that comes from adversity. That comes from being a little bit disappointed and pissed off from the previous year of not getting a Lake Placid, and kind of a little soul searching on where we need to go as individuals, where we need to go as a coaching staff. And Travis is a great example of that. Had a good camp in Boston. I think he was in Boston. Was he St. Louis? Can't remember where he was in his development camp. But I mean, he's put in the work, and he's ready to have that kind of even more of a breakout season this year.
Anything else for Coach? Great. Coach Schaefer, thanks for jumping on and taking some time this morning, and we look forward to seeing your team on the ice to start the year.
No problem. All the best, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Coach Donato, keep your eyes on the road. Just you never know where. I think I see your golf clubs in the back seat. Talk to you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Nick. I think Teddy wanted a phone number just for the reason that's very apparent. So if you want to, can you just text either him or me the phone number, and he'll call in.
Yeah, Coach, there's going to be a phone number, and then there'll be a PIN number that you have to put in because technology doesn't be easy, but I will send that over now.
He's on mute.
Yeah, that's all right.
Do 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 do.
All right, we'll give Coach a minute to get that on. And
who's that ugly guy down the left-hand corner there?
The I think I'm the elder statesman. You and I, Ken, you're the media, and I'm the SID elder statesman.
Scary.
So we'll give Coach a moment to get that on, and I have confirmed with Keith that he will jump on 10 minutes early, so we filled that 10-minute slot that Dartmouth was originally in. So we'll be
nice.
Ted will go now. Coach Fogarty will go at 10:30. Coach Vaughn at 10:40, and Coach Elaine at 10:50.
Good. My dog will be happy, and she can take her out for a walk then.
I do what I can to please the media. As long as Ted doesn't call it a Mickey Mouse call like Rand did, we'll be in better shape. So
yeah. Ew.
Hey guys.
There he is.
Coach, how are you?
Excellent, guys. Sorry about that. I couldn't get the I could get the video, but I couldn't get the audio working. So
No worries. That just means Jeff has to do more work on the video content side because we don't have the recording of your video. That's okay. All right, thanks for jumping on, and we'll start. Obviously, preseason poll and all league team came out today, and just taking a look at a few different things. Second in the coaches poll, first in the media poll, which was announced at the beginning of this call, and then on the preseason all league team, have a few players to that list as well. So pretty good opening for the season for you. The national polls favored your squad as well. I know coaches don't read into those too much. So on your end, what are you looking forward to as far as positives to start the season? And, what's that path that your team will take as we get going here in a couple weeks?
well, I think we certainly have some good young talent, and I believe last year we tasted some success at the end of the year, and I think it it really kind of was a spark for our guys to want those types of opportunities again this year. I think last year was certainly better than the year before when we didn't play, but it was there were a lot of challenges with COVID, and I think we had upwards to 20 guys that missed time and missed games, and we had guys that missed time and games for the Olympics as well. So I really felt we came together at the end of the year, and this year we're trying to build off of that. We have some guys that are really strong offensive players, and we return the lion's share of our defensive core and goaltending. So there's a lot of things to build off of, but we have to become a team, and we have to create an identity of how we want to play, and that's something that's exciting as a coach, and I think we're really looking forward to the season.
Great. Questions for Coach?
Ted, you're the defending. This is Ken Shot, by the way. Ted, how's it going?
Hey, Ken.
Yep. Sorry, I missed you in Clifton. You were in Clifton Park over the summer, weren't you?
Say that again?
Weren't you in Clifton Park over the summer?
I was. I was at Saratoga for the first time ever this summer too. Pretty cool spot.
How much money did you lose?
I won my first 3 races, and then it went right downhill. The house always wins.
That's true. That's why I don't gamble. Anyway, talk about your team. Obviously, defending tournament champions. What's it going to take to get over? To repeat and make a deep run in the NCAA's.
Well, I think last year we had so many guys that were going through those types of experiences for the first time. And this year, we return a good chunk of guys that, had to face those kind of pressures, whether it be, being in overtime, in the playoffs, whether it be, missing guys, in the Final Four weekend to COVID, playing against a team, in Quinnipiac that was, really a great team. I think those were all challenges and lessons that, we hope will be things that we can build off of for this year. But I can tell you that, the guys have come back, hungry and ready, and I think the sights are set, pretty high as a group. And I think as coaches, we got to make sure that those focuses are very day to day. And we have the ability, if we keep getting better, to be a team that can challenge, for all sorts of things at the end of the year.
Hey, Ted. Andrew Mahoney from the Globe. How you doing?
Good, thanks, Avery.
You mentioned earlier in the call that you want to look every year. You have to look to establish an identity. What is the identity typically that you look for from your team?
Well, I think from a style standpoint, we pride ourselves on being on a team that plays fast, plays skillful, that gets up and down the ice, that has good special teams. We like to be an exciting team to play for and to watch. But having said all that, we know that, at the end of the year, you need to be able to play defense. You need to be able to play in tight games. And so, I think, handling those adverse situations in game, is certainly something that is built during the season. And I think, for us, we have a lot of guys that went through it for the first time last year, guys that were playing college hockey. I think we had 13 guys last year that played college hockey for the first time. And I think if you asked any of the coaches, no matter how much we talk about it with incoming players, it's not until they play that first year of college hockey that they realize, how challenging it is, and, how much they have to get in the weight room and how much they have to work on their development. And so most times you see a big jump from that first year to second year. And that's what we're hoping for, is that we'll continue to develop from last year's team and be able to, take some more steps.
Great. Thanks.
We got time for one more for Coach.
Hey, Ted,
Coach.
I'll go to Bernie. Go ahead, Bernie.
Oh, thank you for deferring to the elder statesman here. Coach, question for you. You got a great group coming back, but a couple of names that jump out. It seems like it's become more prevalent around college hockey. We see familiar names of the past and guys that former NHL players. You've got two in your freshman class this year, a couple of names where you see Hayduke and Langenbrunner. Just to give us a little bit of insight about those two guys who've got some pretty good hockey bloodlines, similar to when there was Donato's on the roster.
Yeah, we're excited. Marek Hayduke comes to us from the U.S. national program. Very excited about Marek. Just a first class person. Seems to have grown over the last year and a half or so. So comes in as a big strong guy that plays both ends of the rink. Very young at 18, but we're excited about what we think Marek can turn into at Harvard. And Mason Langenbrunner is also somebody we're very excited about. Mason's big strong defenseman. You know, won a state title, state hockey championship, you know, in Minnesota. Then went on to to the USHL. Played last year in Fargo, and you know, big, strong, mature. You know, a guy that we feel like can step right in and impact us, and a winner. And you know, I think to have guys that come in that we feel can step right in and contribute. I think that's something that everybody's excited about.
Great. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate your time and jumping on today. I know it might have been a couple minutes shorter, but when you follow Coach Jones and Coach Schaefer, that's bound to happen to stay on schedule. But we appreciate your time.
No worries.
We look forward to seeing your team on the ice with what looks to be a promising season up there in Massachusetts.
Well, thank you. And I promise I'm going to figure out this Google video next time. So
hey, listen, I was Zoom for all my time before this, and I came in and Commissioner Hagwell said, "Oh, we use Google." So I said, "All right, I'll jump on and let's see what we can do." So we're going to all learn it together, and it'll be okay. But I appreciate you taking the time to get on today and doing that for us.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Ted.
Thanks, Ted.
Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'm glad I'm not the old guy on this call, Bernie.
Coach Fogarty is here. I think we can jump right into yours.
Yeah, let's get her going, guys.
There you go. Thanks for jumping on a little bit early here. I know last minute reschedule, but Coach, we'll get right into it. You can start with just giving us a little synopsis on what your team looks like this season, what you like going into the year, and where you're headed.
Well, seeing from the coaches poll, there's only one way to head is up. So I love that we're picked, and I'm going to embrace that and utilize that, not for extra motivation, but just what we need to do to get back to relevancy as we were in the 17-18 season and building from 2014. But I love where our culture is. I love where our team's at. We're becoming a tighter team each day. Once our season started on March 29th of last year, that was our first day for the 22-23 season. And it's been enjoyable almost 6 months of working with our team on and off the ice. And we're excited for this year and the challenge ahead.
Ron, what do you have to do to get over that hump and get into the top six and home ice?
Be the toughest team to play against, game in, game out. And that's what we're going to be. We'll be the toughest team to play against. And I heard some of Teddy's comments of being skilled and up and down the ice and fast. And to stop that, you have to be very abrasive and prevent easy entries in the zone, tougher in the neutral zone. And we're going to be that. And that's going to be our identity. We'll be the toughest team to play against in the ECAC.
Great. Questions?
Good. You're back on schedule, Nick.
I know Josh probably has one. He usually lets everybody else go first, though.
I usually do. I even just deferred to Bernie. So yeah. Ryan, I hope you had a good summer too. What do you? I mean, Ken kind of asked what you guys have to do, but how do is goaltending kind of been your thing that you need to work on and stuff like that over the summer?
No, we were a soft possession team that played the perimeter last year, and we changed our whole identity and culture from March till now. And you'll enjoy watching us play because we're played differently, and we're gonna be a tough team to play against. So it's not going to be pointing out one thing that was our downfall. I think it was a collective things. And like I said, I'm excited to put our product on the ice in front of the Nesson TV 8 o'clock at Harvard. That's a fast skating skilled team. So we'll see. We'll match up right away.
Coach, talk a little bit about the culture that you're building this year with two freshman classes in a row being affected by, COVID protocols and different situations. And this year finally getting back to normal. How has that kind of helped your team building and your culture?
Well, without the protocol, you could have groups traveling together and be in buildings. And we've been at a couple elementary schools and giving back to the community. We're helping out Snyder Hockey, helping out with our PVC club here. Being involved in the community and realizing that with our platform, we can, impress upon people of what we can do outside of the rink, and we'll be tighter within that. We understand that people coming to the games appreciate us, and we know that we're playing for more than ourselves. And our culture, like I said, started 6 months ago of what we want to do for the next 100 years. We have the 100th year celebration of Baker Rink, but what we're doing this year is starting to plant seeds for the next 100 years.
And you perfect segue into another question about the 100th year of Hobie Baker. Is there anything the program's doing, in terms of celebrating that building and celebrating the rink with the fans throughout the year?
Yeah, we have a lot of alumni coming back for that January 6th and 7th 100th year celebration. It's one of the most historic facilities out there, oldest behind Matthews, and we want to create a lot of tremendous momentum going into that weekend from our style play and our wins through the months of October through December to create some excitement around those games against Dartmouth and Harvard. But it's 100 years is a long time, and so we're just we have a couple throwback jerseys that we'll have for that weekend. Maybe as I indicated, our style play will be a little throwback this year as well.
Bernie, you have anything?
Yeah, yes, Coach. Just about the competition as you see it at the goaltending position coming back this season.
Bernie, you always ask about goaltending, and also I want to know how the first year was at Baker when you saw it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hobie was a wonderful guy. I just want everybody to know that.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's good. With our goaltending, we have a senior and underclassman, and we're looking forward to seeing who emerges as the goalie. And so we've just started our Ivy practices with we have 3 or 4 hours a week, and so we haven't seen much of them. But Aiden Porter played well last year in the games he played as a returning senior. But again, our style play will be better for our goalies of limiting the red zone areas. And so we'll see what it turns out to be. I'll answer that question later, Bernie.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you readjusting your schedule a bit, and we look forward to seeing your team hit the ice.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'll talk to Vonner for a little bit. How you doing, Vonner? I can't hear you, Vonner. You're on mute. It's just like when I played, I couldn't hear you. But I was so selective.
I thought you were going to give up some more secrets.
Oh, my secrets? I don't know. You taught me everything, so
that's frightening.
Just a carbon copy of what you taught me, man. So, all right, guys, have a great day.
Have a good
to see you, Coach.
Bernie, thanks for being a lifelong member of the 100 years at Baker. We'll talk to you later.
Injected some life into the call there. All right.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow.
We're on a bit of a roll here, Coach. So no pressure at all, but appreciate you jumping on and adjusting the schedule a bit as we were trying to fill space there. Just to start off, preseason poll and preseason all league coming out today, team being picked 5th in the preseason poll by the coaches. And just looking ahead to the season, if you can give a bit of a synopsis on where your team's headed, what you like going into the year.
Sure. I think the poll was, in my opinion, pretty accurate in a lot of ways, at least at the top. It's so hard to predict in this league from one year to the next who's going to come out of the pack. There's always someone that surprises. So I don't put a whole lot of stock in them when it's all said and done. But I think that based on it's so hard anymore really to tell what teams are going to be like with transfers and 5th years, and you used to be able to predict pretty closely what a team was going to look like the next year, and it gets tougher and tougher with all of the moving parts now. But we're this time of year everybody's excited, right? We haven't played a game yet, so nobody's upset with me for not getting the right minutes, and everybody's feeling good about where they're at. We're healthy, which is great, and we have a veteran club, which is really fun from a coaching perspective. It's almost like you're just sort of steering the rudder and letting them take ownership in the team, and they've done that. It's that's been really rewarding as a coach to see some of our older guys sort of take charge and take over and bring the younger guys in under their wings. And but yeah, we've got I think 12 or 13 juniors and seniors on this club, including our goaltender Carter, who's coming off of a difficult year last year with an injury in the second half. But yeah, I'm sure like a lot of teams, we're excited and anxious to get going.
Hey, Don, it's Ken Schott. Hope all is well. And what is it going to take for you guys to get into that top 4?
Yeah, I think our goal production has to increase a little bit, Ken. I mean, we scored enough last year, but we also had some incredible goaltending down the stretch. So we can't always rely on that to get the win. We defended hard last year in the second half, and we have to find a way to be a little bit more explosive, more offensive, more shots on goal, trying to create, I guess, manufacture some goals, if you will. Obviously, special teams are huge. Our power play, can improve, and we've got all of our guys back, with the exception of McKechnie on the power play. So it's an experienced group. So we're hoping that they can help with some of that offensive output.
Hey, Don, hope you had a good summer. Obviously, I like the balance of your team. I've been told a lot of coaches, I feel like today, the balance, you get a lot of experience, you get a lot of talent up front. You got some in the back, get some experience in goal. What exactly do you like, and how can you use all that to your advantage?
I think, one of the biggest factors of having a veteran club like this with, guys that have played a lot of really important minutes, even some of our sophomores, I think of guys like Tommy Bergslund, he played in all situations last year. And, for a first year to do that and come in and played really well, so even as a sophomore, he's got a lot of minutes under his belt. So I would consider him a veteran as well. I think one of the advantages of having a team like this is that you don't have to, throw your freshmen right into the fire. I think there'll be an opportunity here to ease sort of them into the game. I guess maybe the best way of putting it is allow them to be out there in situations and opportunities where they have the best chance to succeed. So I think some of our first year guys are going to, they're going to step up and earn a spot right away, but we won't have to, for example, use them on the power play and the penalty kill out of the gate. So that's a big plus for us.
Yeah, Don, what do you see about the league? I mean, it just seems like, top to bottom, I'm looking at it's a little bit better this year. It seems like a top five, 6, those teams are very strong, having a lot of returning. What do you see?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously the top 4 are certainly very deserving of where they are. So much of it will depend on our out of conference schedules, and how other teams do, how we do against our out of conference opponents, strength of schedule, that kind of thing in terms of, getting more teams into the tournament. But it's, you guys know the league. It's a battle every single night. It doesn't matter who you're playing. I mean, you've heard that 100 times, but it's so true. And I would extend that out across the country now. There's just a lot of parity, nationally. So, you better bring your A game every night, or it's not going to be pretty.
Coach, Bernie Corbett, a question about Colton Young and his jump for you and healthy, and what he did for you last year and what you expect him to do this year. And yes, it was wonderful to see the Stones finally play a home game this summer.
I was waiting for that. I knew that might come out somewhere. My sister was probably a couple of rows back from you, Bernie.
Right. As it turned out. If I had only known. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Would have had a beer with it. Yeah.
Right? Good to hear from you. Colton Young was our most consistent, probably best player all of last year. He had a great summer. He just has taken another step. He had an opportunity, which is kind of funny. He had an opportunity to go to Edmonton Oilers prospect camp, and they're huge Calgary fans, right? So his dad told me he wasn't allowed to bring that jersey back into the house. So, but he's the real deal. He's deceptionally strong. He's fast. He can separate. Clearly we missed him in Lake Placid last year. He got hurt in the Cornell series, but he is healthy, and we're going to lean on him heavily this year in all situations, but he can handle it. And, Alex, he'll be probably playing alongside his brother, Alex, which I think is kind of fun. Not quite the same dynamic as the Spink twins, for those of you that remember them, but very similar in terms of that sixth sense, knowing where the other is. They've played a lot of hockey together. So it'll be fun to watch him continue to grow. I think he has an opportunity to play after. So we'll see.
Thanks.
Anybody have anything else for Coach?
Yeah, this team kind of reminds me of those teams back then as well. I was actually going to say that too. What about the goaltending, though? I mean, obviously that's very important in the ECAC now and college hockey as a whole. What do you see there? Obviously, Carter, you talked about his injury a little bit, but what does he have to do this year to kind of take that next step to make you guys maybe in that next echelon of teams in the country?
Yeah, it's a great point, Josh. He's healthy. Obviously, he had a great summer. He obviously he's a Detroit draft pick, so he spent some time at their development camp or their prospect camp. So, that's all just another part of the learning curve. But the fact that he's healthy and I think really wants to prove something is really exciting for us. I know that he wanted to be in there last year, but the big story really was Mitch coming in off the bench after being injured for an entire season and taking the team on his shoulders and allowing us to get that run to Lake Placid, which will be, something that we'll lean on here as we get going. But I know that Carter's looking to prove something in his own right, and I'm excited. He's looked great in the early going here. So, but you're right. He's got to be an elite goalie. I always say you don't have to be the best goalie in the country; you just have to be better than the guy at the other end of the rink on any given night. So, he's pretty focused and ready to go.
Great. Anything else for Coach? Awesome. Thank you, everybody, and Coach. Appreciate your time and look forward to seeing what you guys put out there on the ice in a couple weeks.
No problem. Good to see everybody. Take care.
You too, Don. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Perfect timing. Coach Elaine just jumped on so he can get settled. Coach, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thanks for jumping on. I know you had to readjust your schedule a little bit, so appreciate that.
Happy to do it. No problems at all.
Awesome. So we will we'll start briefly just by having you kind of give us a synopsis of what you like about your team this year going forward into the season and where you're headed as we get started here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, being an Ivy League school, we're not officially practicing yet, but I guess what I like about my team is really the way our team finished last year and how much growth I saw through the course of the season in the group last year. We were undermanned a bit. We'll have much more depth this year. We'll have lots more experience. When we played in our first game last year, I had 13 skaters in that game who were playing their very first college hockey game. So I think you'll see a deeper, more experienced, hopefully more confident hockey team when we start the year this year.
Keith, to get through that year last year, coming off the year you didn't play, I mean, how tough was it, and how proud were you of the way they finished?
Ken, it was difficult. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we missed a whole year of development with everyone in our program. And so if there's any value into what we do every day in practice, and I'm a coach that values practice quite highly, I mean, our guys missed that. Add that to the fact that we were short personnel. We didn't have experience. And if, I know a lot of people didn't watch our team closely through the course of the year, but we got better as the season went on. And, for a team that finished where we finished, if you look at our goals against, if you look at our shots against, I think you'll see that we were a hard hockey team to play against that last half of the season. And I'm a guy that knows results matter, and I take a lot of pride in wins and losses, but I take more pride in the growth of our group and the way they came together last year. And I was extremely proud of them for that.
Yeah, I think that second half of the year last year for you guys was very good considering, the manpower and everything and the experience. But how much of an advantage is that, kind of lack of experience last year? Might that be this year, seeing some guys were in situations last year that they may never have been in as freshmen or sophomores in a typical season?
Well, I think it'll be an advantage if we can make it an advantage. I think it was one of the things we were hoping we would get out of the season last year, was guys getting lots of experience playing in roles that they probably weren't ready for, but getting that, that opportunity to be in those roles. And I think with any group, Josh, you'll see that some guys will take that and you'll see a real leap forward, and some guys won't. That's the nature of human beings. But we're going to try to make that a positive for us for sure.
Coach, Bernie Corbett, inside ECAC hockey. Michael Young named you captain. He was turned out to be kind of a Swiss Army knife for you. He performed in a lot of different roles for you. his role moving forward this year for you and its significance.
Yeah, Mike, we were short up front last year and we used Mike as a forward on a number of occasions. Mike's a big, strong kid. He's really smart. In a perfect world, Mike's going to be a shutdown defenseman for you, play against other team top lines, kill penalties. Obviously, he's got great leadership qualities. That's why his teammates selected him captain. But hopefully we'll be able to play him to his strengths more this year than have him be that Swiss Army knife you referred to.
Anything else for Coach? Coach, I'll give you one too, just as we get back towards normalcy, and I know, on the Ivy League side, it took a little bit longer in terms of the policies and with fans. How important is it for you to have fans at full capacity and be able to get back to those atmospheres, even in the road games? So just having our league back to those atmospheres.
I think it's hugely important. I think, one of the reasons, there are lots of reasons, but one of the reasons kids come to play here at Yale is for a sold out Ingles rink on a Saturday night. I mean, it's an atmosphere unlike any others. And, I've got a junior class that's never experienced that. So we're all looking forward to that. Last year, many of our parents, if they wanted to see their kids play, they had to go to other rinks, and our alums will be back in the building, and the energy around college hockey is something that we all missed.
Great. We definitely look forward to it. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to jump in now. If not, Coach, do you have anything else to add about your group this year?
No, I'm good. I like short and sweet.
I figured you wouldn't be too upset about it, but
you guys all have a great day.
You as well, Keith.
Thanks.
Yeah, Keith.
All right, everyone. Appreciate it. Anybody have anything they need from me before we get off? Or are we all set?
I think we're all set.
So I'm sorry, Nick. Will you be sending a recording around?
Yeah, so we're gonna upload to YouTube, and then I'll also send a link from Google in the media email, so everyone will get that link.
Great. Thanks for setting this up.
You got it. Thanks for jumping on.
All right, thanks, Nick.
All right, anyone needs
Josh, I'll talk to you a little later, all right?
What was that?
I'll talk to you a little later about coming on the podcast and that.
All right, sounds good. I'll look forward to that, Ken. Have a good
All right.
one.
Hey,
Thanks,
Bernie, you have a good
If you
one
need anything
too.
throughout the year, just
Okay.
feel free to reach out.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Talking to you soon, man.